And today we're gonna have a very interesting video, and this is your co-host Burbujita. Burbujita, say hello. Hi everyone. The video is about to start. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. There we go. Hi everyone. In today's video, we're going to talk about a subject that I don't even know how to start. It's called astrology. To be honest with you, I'm not the one that believes most in astrology, but every time I talk to my friend Kiel, he seems to be so knowledgeable, and maybe we should do a video about this because probably a lot of non-believers out there like myself could benefit from this information. Kyle, how do you get into astrology?
I had a lady where I was working with guess my rising sign, and I had no idea what that meant, but she guessed it like right off the bat, and I found my birth time, and it was just a crazy sequence of like investigation, and I just started researching more and more, and I was just super interested in it, and I just kind of evolved from there, I guess you could say.
I guess now you're that lady because
well, I mean
not that lady, but you have the knowledge of that lady because I mean every time he comes here to get his haircut and stuff, he's just like, oh, you're this, you're that, it's just so crazy. What do you do, like, what's your, like, 9-to-5 job?
I'm a real estate agent.
Of course, in Miami. What else would you do?
And I also do some nutritional things on the side.
Yes, you're right.
Right.
You are the juice guy, right?
I am a juice guy. I used to have a juice bar.
Yeah. Where were you born?
Florida. Jacksonville, Florida.
Wow, we have a real Floridian here. So let's start with the first question. What is astrology, and why would people, like the viewers, should believe in astrology? What is this?
Astrology is a pseudoscience.
Okay.
And it's sort of, there's a lot of mysticism associated, but so many major cultures in the world, like Chinese, from India, the Mayans, as well as Western astrology, which I use, is just been around since essentially the beginning of time. Like, they've followed the stars, and they've made connections between how the stars, or I should say planets, have a direct effect on people's lives, on their personal lives.
It sounds crazy that the planets would have an effect on people's lives. I mean, I sound like I'm from the Middle Ages or something, but they do.
If you look at the moon pulls the tide, why is it so hard to believe that something up there is pulling the tide? It's not having some sort of effect on your personal life.
Asking you something really catchy. For example, there's 12 zodiac signs, right? But now we have the 13th one, which is a new zodiac sign called Ophiuchus. Therefore, what?
Is actually a constellation.
Okay.
It is not a planet. In astrology, we do not recognize that for horoscopes, for reading. That is something that science has found, like astronomers.
Yes.
However, astronomy and astrology are different because astrology is essentially mysticism, where astronomy is science.
So nobody's Ophiuchus?
No.
Okay.
No astrologer is going to give a reading based on someone being this 13th zodiac sign.
I want to be a new sign. I love my sign.
Right. You're a Libra.
Yes.
Everybody loves Libras, right?
Are horoscopes in general worth reading?
They're very vague. So when I say vague, I mean some are more specific than others depending on who's writing it and what kind of publication you're looking at.
And you used to write those?
I did.
I know.
But they are based upon your sun signs.
What is that? What is a sun sign?
Yeah, so your birthday, like every month, like for example, the year January starts off with the sun is in Capricorn. So everyone born from December 23rd to January 21st is a Capricorn. So that would be their sun sign because the sun was in that sign when they were born. So that's your sun sign. So everybody pretty much, if you know what day you were born, then you know your sun sign. Now again, this is only a very small part of your astrology chart.
Right, because for example, I'm Libra and I'm like, oh, I'm Libra, but that is my sun sign then. So what would be my real sign? Because that, I heard that's like, I'm confused.
Well, in astrology for horoscope purposes, you're going to want to look at your rising sign.
Yes, rising sign. What is a rising sign?
So the rising sign, exact time of birth is required because on every hour of the day there's a sign on the horizon. Now you have to be very precise with knowing the exact time of birth in order to be able to get not only an accurate natal chart but to get an accurate horoscope reading. I would say the rising sign and the sun sign are the two most important things to look for when you're reading a horoscope. You're a Libra and you're an Aquarius. Your sun sign is a Libra, but your rising sign is Aquarius. So you would want to read both horoscopes to get the whole picture of like what's actually really happening in your life.
So now I understand why the horoscopes are so vague then, because they don't have everybody's rising sign. So Burbujita has a question. What does a birth chart would reveal about a person?
A birth chart, as we talked about with the rising sign, in order to generate this chart, we need the exact time of birth. So that's going to sort of be what makes someone a unique individual, is this chart that's created based upon your exact day and time and location of birth.
Oh, well, those are the charts that you do. Which, by the way, he is super dead on with these things. It's kind of like really frightening, to be honest with you, because I mean, I never have a chart so detailed like he does it, and my whole family has done it and they're very impressed with the results. So if you have any curiosity about this, I'm gonna be putting in the description of the video his personal information. No, I'm just kidding. Like his a way for you to get in contact so you could get this done. The next question: what about if you were adopted and there wasn't a clock when your mom was being born, like was giving birth or whatever, and you don't know your time of birth, like what would happen? Or if, I mean, I don't even know how does it work with adoption, I'm sorry. So, I mean, do they know what day they were born really, or they give them an approximate? I don't know. So what will happen to you then?
So, astrology really is being very like mathematical and precise with timing.
Please don't tell me they're done.
No.
Okay.
No, but there is, we can, if you know that it is crucial for you to know your day of birth. That's like your sun sign, because if you don't know the day of birth, then we're kind of just throwing glitter up in the air and we don't know where it's going to land kind of thing. So you really, the more information you have, the more information you're going to get from me to be able to tell you more precise information. So for example, let's say you know when you were born, but you don't know what time you were born. We can still tell you basically the location of planets. Like we could tell you your moon sign, your Venus, your Mars, your Jupiter, all the planets, because they wouldn't change based on the hour. But I wouldn't be able to develop the rising sign and the houses in which the planets are located. And that's what really gives me a very specific picture into you and where you're lucky, where you struggle, where there's blessings. Certain planets are called benefic planets in astrology. So benefic planets would be the planet Jupiter and the planet Venus.
Venus is my planet.
But it's still, we can get information about you and your personality.
More general
but it'll be more general.
Got it. Okay. How could that enhance your life?
So I personally like to think of it as like knowledge is power, right? So like when we know certain things are a certain way, it takes that mystery out. So for example, let's say we look at someone's chart and they have the planet Saturn. Saturn is considered a malefic planet, meaning it does not bestow good luck in someone's life.
Why would the cars call themselves Saturn then?
Actually, in mythology, Saturn ate his own children.
Okay.
There are some benefits to Saturn.
Okay, fix this because
I want to fix this because I know there's going to be people out there like, Saturn's not all bad. And it's like, okay, Saturn makes us work very hard, but it typically gives us trials and tribulations.
No, Saturn, thank you. Yes.
Before it gives us its reward.
What would be a reward of Saturn, please?
Well, it depends on what house it's transiting. Let's say that Saturn's transiting someone's 9th house. Okay? You're probably looking at me like, what's the 9th house?
Right.
The 9th house is a house of higher learning, education, mass media, marketing, foreign lands, and foreign people. So we've got this heavy planet Saturn going through this sector of someone's chart. This person during this period perhaps could really be struggling with learning. It's also a house of philosophical ideas, so perhaps they're really struggling with faith in something. Maybe they're trying to believe in something, but they're really just sort of struggling or trying to learn a lot about it. They're being forced to put a lot of effort in, but once it leaves, perhaps they've got this newfound sense of belief, or they've mastered this course they worked so hard to struggling through. They get their diploma after it leaves.
Okay.
But it wasn't an instant thing.
It
wasn't easy or instant, but they are so much more stronger and appreciative of how hard they worked because they endured so much to get to where they are after Saturn leaves. Yeah, so going back to how does that enhance someone's life?
Yeah.
You're going to say, yes, that's enhancing someone's life by knowing this information, because it's going to take that mystery out of like, why am I really struggling in this area? Why am I working so hard? But if we look at it and we say, oh, you've only got a year and a half with this struggle, that sort of gives somebody a glimmer of hope to continue like pushing through, rather than just say, I give up, I'm not destined for this, like it's a nightmare.
Got it. And none of this would be possible if it wasn't for the support of Gustavo Brand Studio, where hair becomes in high art, and Sultry Eyelash Studio, where they bring out the goddess out of any woman, and South Beach Charity Angels. If you want more information, please read the link below. So are certain signs more compatible with certain signs or less compatible?
Yes and no. Yes and no to answer that question.
Okay, great.
Just, we know there's 12 signs in the zodiac.
Yes.
We have fire signs, we have earth signs, we have air signs, and we have water signs.
The 4 elements.
Certain elements go together easier. And we're looking at this based on a sun sign.
Yes.
So we're going to say the same element it's always a go. Like fire and fire, earth and earth, air and air, water and water. It's a good mix. Now, the other mixes that work are air and fire, because the air ignites the fire. It fuels the flame.
Okay.
Earth and water work because they absorb one another.
What about water and fire?
Water and fire typically are not a good match because the water puts out the fire.
Right.
And there's always exceptions to like these rules, because again, we're not looking at just someone's sun sign when we're looking at astrology charts. We're looking at their whole chart. So like perhaps a couple maybe doesn't have a great match on their sun sign, but maybe in their rising and their moon and their other planets, there's a really like strong connection. It doesn't mean necessarily, oh, somebody's incompatible if they're elements that are not necessarily traditional matches. It means that they're gonna have to work a little bit harder to understand someone at a more core level. They're gonna have to work harder. The synergy's not gonna be as easy.
Well, all my relationships have been easy.
Oh, I'm sure.
They have not. What is astrocartography?
So astrocartography is, well, cartography means map.
Okay.
And astro is just short for astrology. You have to know your time of birth, and it puts your entire birth chart across the world.
Wait a second. So this is like a GPS or something?
It's like a whole software system that maps the world specifically for you. Based on your specific astrological chart. So
yes,
by having this map with your chart put across the world, we can tell good places for you to live, we can tell great places for you to travel, and we can tell you not so good places to live and travel.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Pretty powerful.
You should have told me that before, because you could have sold another chart. I mean, what? I know you better start making my Astrocartography. What is Mercury Retrograde? I'm like so tired of listening to this. When I hear this, I feel like my life is gonna end and probably I'm gonna have a strike of bad luck, and I'm so afraid of this.
So in astrology, all the planets retrograde with the exception of the sun and the moon. They never retrograde, but it's considered an optical illusion in astrology that a retrograde means the planet has stopped and it is moving in backward motion. So Mercury is the planet that we seem to be the most affected by because it retrogrades 3 times a year.
Oh my god, so usually how long does this last? It sounds so dooming.
It's 3 weeks, and we usually have what we call a shadow period, meaning up right before it turns retrograde, it starts slowing down. And then once it started retrograding and then it finally goes direct, it takes time for the planet to go back to the point it was before it originally retrograded. So that's called the shadow period.
So everything takes then 3 weeks or 3 weeks and a half?
I would say we're going to feel a retrograde probably for 6 weeks, but the planet will actually only be retrograde for 3 weeks.
This is a curse.
Well, for Mercury in particular, Mercury's the messenger planet. It rules communication, writing, speaking. So when it's retrograde, all of that is off. It also rules technology. So a lot of people's like computers go haywire. They don't get emails, like phone calls. Everything either gets lost or delayed, or people are like, oh, I never got your message, or your computer's not loaded, the internet's not loading fast enough. There's just like a lot of technical glitches. There's also communication errors. Perhaps like you say something to a friend and they misunderstood what you said, or they took it the wrong way. Like you didn't intend it the way that they received it.
So there's a lot of problems in communication.
On a positive note, Mercury likes us when it's retrograde to go backwards. So like let's say you had a business opportunity 2 years ago that never went through. Maybe it resurfaces again during Mercury retrograde with that.
You heard this?
But
this
it's not a time to start something brand new.
Oh, okay.
It's a time to review and go back to what has already started.
Wow, this is like great. Kyle, what is the solar return chart?
So every year on your birthday, the sun returns to the exact spot in which you were born.
Oh, lovely.
In astrology, we cast a chart on that day, and we tell you the theme of the upcoming year until your next birthday. So it's sort of like a blueprint for the year. Now, this is based upon where you're currently located at the time of your birthday. So, for example, your solar return chart in Miami will not be the same as if you spent your birthday in Osaka, Japan.
Oh my God.
So in astrology, we look at these maps for the upcoming year, and sometimes people that are super into astrology might say, what's my year going to be like? And we look at it for their current city, and it really looks like a bad chart. We may suggest they travel for their birthday to get a better upcoming year.
So at the end of the day, I feel my conclusion about all these questions are like, knowledge is power. So the more you know about your star position when you were born and your rising sign, to have a better driving or
understanding.
Life. Yeah.
An understanding of what's happening in their life and why it's happening. Perhaps it puts a rhyme to the reason.
He's a great astrologer. I really should have him wear a cape or something. Like Walter Mercado. No, like Walter Mercado.
You know, Walter Mercado and I have the same birthday. March 9th.
Oh my God. So Walter left us, but he left you.
He left me.
Okay. In my art class, guys, I did him. I had to do Walter. And he does have like a, I don't even know how to say this in English, but he says, if you're gonna do me, you better do something respectful and something nice, because people that have made fun of me, they end up having really bad stuff happening to them. Que tengan mucha bendición de Dios, pero de mí, que tengan mucho, mucho, mucho amor. Oh, something like that.
I love that. Sounds good anyway.
Right. Okay, so anyway, thank you. So I'll see you soon, like, you know.
For a chart, for an Astrocartography chart, no doubt.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. That's clicking on the little bell. Comment all you want. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like.
Don't forget to subscribe to grow the community.
And also, don't forget to follow our social media. And if you want to go ahead and share this video in all your platforms, share the love. Till next time!